Hey everyone, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I am back with another Grumpy preview. This time we're going to be looking at something that just got announced fairly recently, I think, and definitely just got kind of detailed more, and that is the new pandemic game that is going to be based off of World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. So if you watch the channel, if you've listened to me blabber on, you'll know that I'm a big fan of World of Warcraft, especially classic WoW, which I'm currently playing. But I was a huge fan of Wrath of the Lich King. That was really the peak of my time with WoW because I started playing the game basically between the last patch of Burning Crusade and the release of Wrath of the Lich King. So late in Burning Crusade. And so in terms of like rating and stuff like that and getting like really hardcore about the game, that Wrath is the expansion in which I started down that path. So I have lots of fond memories of it, and I like Pandemic. I like World of Warcraft, so this immediately caught my attention and I thought I'd talk about it. So 1 to 5 players, 45 to 60 minutes. That's probably nonsense. 14 years plus, $60. This is obviously MSRP. I don't think I would pay $60. I would get it on Minutes Market and pay $45. But if you did want to pre-order it, they're available now. Venture to Azeroth. In this epic adventure from the World of Warcraft universe, players will journey to the frozen continent of Northrend to face the armies of the Lich King. This pandemic system game showcases familiar mechanics and gameplay, now tweaked to embrace the setting of the Wrath of the Lich King. Forts, temples, battlegrounds, and more populate the game board as you and your fellow heroes journey across the cold landscape. Along the way, you'll set up strongholds, complete quests, and do battle with legions of undead. So, they don't go a whole lot into the specifics of exactly how this plays, but I don't know that I need those specifics, to be honest. What I know is that you get to play as kind of the heroes of Wrath of the Lich King, like Thrall, Sylvanas, who is the villain of the game now, but back then she was still relatively heroic. Varian and Tyrion and all those characters. And so you get to pick a themed character that has, I assume, like their own abilities and such. And you're going around fighting the Scourge, basically. So as the Scourge grows, more undead will populate the board. Throw dice as you enter into battle against the hordes of ghouls and ferocious abominations, using hero cards to add power to your attacks. Block incoming assaults, heal wounds, take mounts to far off spaces, and so much more. So you're getting miniatures for all these amazing characters, and I don't think that there was a World of Warcraft board game that came out like over 10 years ago from Fantasy Flight. And that was more like, it wasn't a dungeon crawl or anything like that. I don't know why somebody hasn't just taken Descent and turned it into World of Warcraft, basically, because they'd sell 5 million copies of that, but they haven't done it yet. So it was more like a board game where you were moving around, on a kind of static board. And it did have miniatures, but since then, there haven't been a whole lot of Warcraft miniatures out there. There was a line of miniatures that was kind of separate. It was more like HeroClix or something like that. I never got into collecting those. And so I say all that just to say that these are relatively rare to be able to get miniatures of these characters, and I'm super excited to have the opportunity. I probably would buy this just to get the miniatures. Even though I have no reason to think that these guys, they're not known for Z-Mans, they're not known for the stunning beauty of their miniatures, so these are not going to be Storm Sunder quality miniatures, but they'll probably be good enough and might be fun to proxy into a game like Chronicles of Drunagor, and just use Thrall as your orc shaman instead of the guy who comes in the box. So I'm interested in it just from that level. I'm a little disappointed that Icecrown Citadel is just like cardboard. That seems weird for $60 especially, but it looks like they wanted to get it into a pandemic-sized box, and so they had to probably make some sacrifices there, and then also just the cost of keeping the cost of the game down. So they talk about how you're going to be completing quests. As you fight your way to the Lich King, all manner of dark magic and terrible creatures under his control will need to be neutralized. This comes in the form of quests, a brand new mechanic that can be completed as a team through a combination of dice rolls and using the hero cards at your disposal. However, each quest comes with its own dangers and hindrances. Complete these quests to move closer to the final assault on Icecrown Citadel, where the Lich King himself resides. And so here you see the enemy miniatures. You've got ghouls, you've got abominations, which are super cool, and then you've got the man himself, the Lich King. And it looks like there's an element of actually like dungeon crawling in some way, because the Nexus is a dungeon from Wrath of the Lich King, and Naxxramas is one of the raids. And so it looks like there's some kind of progression that you're doing where you're having to maybe acquire a certain number of symbols to clear a location. I'm not sure, again, it's kind of light on details, but it sounds cool enough. And again, what a genius idea to throw Warcraft on it, because I would not have given this a second glance if it did not literally say World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King on the box. So smart use of the license, and I'll keep an eye out on this. If it ends up just truly being trash, I probably wouldn't pick it up, at least not for retail price. But, I don't know that there's been a whole lot of bad pandemic games. They kind of have that model on lock, and this is just, from what I can tell, just reskinning and, tweaking it basically. And so it'll probably end up being of interest. So in terms of the contents, you're getting 7 hero miniatures, 1 Lich King miniature, 3 abominations, 36 ghoul miniatures, Icecrown Citadel, 3 strongholds, which I think are these little cardboard things right here, maybe? I'm not sure. Or maybe that's these. 100 plus cards and much more. And they do, I didn't notice this, they do have the rulebook here, so I suppose I could have looked at this and gotten a much better sense of how it plays and what all this means. Yeah, so there's your strongholds. Shows you how to assemble the cardboard pieces. This setup. Yeah, I don't know, this looks fun. I think I'll be interested in this. I like a nice dice chucky element to Pandemic 2. I know that they've done that in the past. I can't remember the name of that particular game, but so yeah, this looks interesting to me. I'm going to keep my eye on this for sure. And it's always nice to have something come out that is of interest and also is not $600. Right? Like, this isn't going to Kickstarter. This is a retail product. You're going to be able to just drive down the street and get this. That's increasingly rare for me, especially in the types of games that I like. It's rare for me to be able to do that because they're usually these huge dungeon crawlers, and there's no reason not to just get those on Kickstarter and get all the extra stuff. So, kind of exciting. And I'll be keeping an eye on this. So, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Is this a cool idea? Is this just shameless license IP kind of hacking to get people to buy this game? Do you have any experience with World of Warcraft yourself? Fond memories you want to share? All that stuff I'd be interested to hear. So pop a comment down below, and I will talk to you later.